Well, good morning, sister.
Hello, good morning. How are we?
We are good today. How are you?
I'm good. We've got
Yeah.
sunshine this week. It's amazing.
Life-giving, absolutely.
Yes, yes, 100%.
Good. Well, I'm sorry that we weren't here last week. It was my fault.
That's okay. Tiffany ran away.
I did. I went on a getaway this last weekend to go
hmm
to Phoenix for like a little family thing, and life just got away from me right beforehand. I did not take the kids or hubby, so it was just kind of getting all of the things done.
Yep.
Which actually meant that I got none of the things done
Mhm.
and hubby had to handle it, which is fine because again, as we know, my hubby can handle it. It was like not an issue. So
Yeah.
I actually came back to a cleaner house than when I left it, which was awesome. I was talking to my youngest when I was gone, and I was like, "Oh, would you guys like we had to clean." And I was like, "You did?" I said, "Why'd you have to clean?" "Well, Dad said he didn't want you coming home all stressed."
Totally fair.
I was like, "I love that. And thank you." Because
Yeah.
it's true. I would have come home all stressed.
Okay, but that is the worst when you like, I have to clean the house before I go anywhere because if
Uh-huh.
I don't and then I come home and the house, you come home from vacation and your house is a mess. Oh my God.
I
It's like
know,
so
right?
overwhelming because you have
Yes.
to unpack, you have to get back, and now it's like, "Ooh, welcome
I
back."
know. And it's almost like when you get back, I feel like when I'm in the mess, I don't see it as much because I'm like, this is every day. And then when
Yeah.
you get back, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm actually a pig. Like,
Yeah.
I should
Yes.
clean more. It's fine. I came back to a clean house. It was amazing. Yes. 10 out of
So
10
nice.
recommend. Good job, hubby. Good job, kids.
Yes. Listen, are you guys listening? Are the partners
Yeah.
listening? Just
Yep. Uh-huh. Everybody take some notes from my hubby. That is what you need to do. Yes,
Yep.
absolutely, without even a doubt.
I love it. Winning move. Okay, so
Right.
today we're going to
Yeah.
jump in and we're going to talk about skincare and makeup. And I'm so
Yes.
excited because I
Yes.
love both.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so here's where I struggle. I feel like everybody younger than me is so much better at skincare than I am. Like
hmm
truly, like I'm like, wait, you're doing what? Like, how do you have this all figured out? So, like, for example, I think TikTok is probably the best thing ever. So we're on TikTok now. If you are on TikTok and you're not following us, follow us because I'm new to the whole TikTok thing. This is super
hmm
fun. Actually, we're both new to it. So we're both
hmm
learning TikTok. But I tell you what, they have a lot of really good information about beauty out there.
Yes. And that's what I was gonna say is I think that it's different now because
Mhm.
when you were younger and growing up, even like when I was younger, we didn't have social media. So
Yep.
like nobody really talked about it. So you only learned about it from like your mom or
Uh-huh.
whoever was in your house doing skincare. And if
Yeah.
they weren't like taking the time to tell you what they're doing and why they're
Yeah.
doing it, you just didn't do it. But now with
Right?
social media, everyone is posting the things that they love and the things that they do and what makes their skin feel better and look better. And like you get more education on it just on a day to day.
Absolutely. Yeah. So
Mhm.
I totally dove down deep into TikTok. And
Yes.
I came out with the Korean mask, the viral one that is
Yep.
amazing. I shared it on our Instagram last week. I did do that. I used it again yesterday. The funniest thing is it does take like 3 hours to set up. You're supposed to sleep with it overnight. There's a 0% chance I'm ever going to do that because it would fall off. It would bother me. I would not sleep at all. But what I do is I put it on like, well, the first time I put it on the evening, and then just all my kids were like, "What is wrong with you?" Even my husband was like, "Okay." And I was like, "No, no, no. Trust the process."
hmm
And I
hmm
will say it made my skin so dewy. So then yesterday I timed it because I was like, okay, how do I time this? Because now we have like spring sports starting. I'm like, okay, I have to time this for like kids pick up and drop off. So I'm not driving with it. Well, I had time yesterday afternoon because I was just working from home. So I was like, well, I'll just pop on this mask. And hubby comes home, he goes, "I'm just the luckiest." And I was like, I know. at me taking care of my skin. But it feels so soft. I am
Yeah.
obsessed and now wondering how, like, what else am I missing? Well, okay, I've done Botox once. Full disclosure. I don't know if I will do it again. I might do it again. We'll see. I don't know. The first time I did it, I went to like one of those Botox parties, apparently with a thing. And I went to
Hmm.
one and there was like no follow-up care or anything. And my
Hmm.
eyebrow was like drooping. It
It's
wasn't
called a
my
Spock
eyelid.
brow.
Yeah, it was a Spock brow.
Yes.
So my poor sister-in-law, I drug her to, her eyelid was drooping. I had a Spock brow and I was like, this is not my thing.
Okay, but to be fair, I told Tiffany, don't go to a Botox party because I used to work in plastic surgery. Okay, so I
Yeah.
started getting Botox when I worked in plastics. I
Yeah.
still get it, not as often because I don't like to be totally frozen, but
Yeah.
I still get it like twice a year. Um, but I did tell you not to go to a Botox party
You did. It's true.
because
It's
I
true.
was like, if you're gonna go, go to a plastic surgeon. There are so many
Yeah.
estheticians, there are so many med spas. There are a lot of ones that are really great. I currently go to a med spa, but the med spa that I go to is connected to a plastic surgeon. So I'm
Yeah.
very picky
Yeah.
because stuff like that can happen.
I know. Well, apparently, if I had gone back, she could have corrected it. But
Yeah,
I didn't know that. Like that information was not given to me. So I was like,
yeah.
well, it's a failure and I'm never doing this again. So we're just gonna have wrinkles and it's gonna be fine.
It's great. We're aging gracefully,
This
okay?
is
Not a big
fine.
deal. I have not tried the Korean mask that you tried. I did order
Hmm.
mine, so I'm gonna try it this week. I'm very excited. But I have tried other like collagen ones that
Yeah.
it just goes on clear and then it gets really hard and you like peel
Yeah.
it off.
Yeah.
Love that one. I'm a face mask goddess. I love them. I do them at least once a week. They
Yeah.
just feel so good. So I'm excited to try that one. I would sleep in it going back to scaring our partners with our beauty things. I
Hmm.
was influenced before Christmas and I sleep with like one of those silk bonnets
Nice.
on my head.
Yes.
And when I first started, I swear to God, Tyler was like, "What? What is happening?" But
What is this?
now he's gotten used to it and he likes it because
Hmm.
now when I don't have it, he's like, "Oh, your hair is like all over my face when we're like laying together." And I'm like,
Yep.
"See, the bonnet is so nice because it keeps it all away."
Right? Exactly. And then you like wake up and your hair's not super frizzy and all the things. And yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I will say probably about 30 to 40% of the time I wake up and I have taken it off.
Yeah. That's fair. That's totally fair.
So I feel like
Yeah.
that happens more than people talk about.
Uh-huh.
But you know what? In my mind, I'm like, okay, I got half the night, so
Yeah.
check. I did it.
Yeah. Now, okay, so speaking of like skincare and stuff, I
Yeah.
did go to Ulta before I left town. And let me tell you, marketing, holy crap, for somebody that isn't very good at this, like I'm still learning, like I'm just call me a teenager, okay, I'm still learning all the things. Like my version of makeup is like 5 minute makeup.
Okay.
They're actually, I think our mom gave me a book when I was a teenager. It was like my Cindy Crawford. This is how old I am. It was a Cindy Crawford book and she literally talked about like 5 minute makeup. So that's all I've ever done. So I don't usually do the whole like full foundation. If you had to have me contour anything, I don't know how to contour. I don't know how to highlight. I don't understand any of it. Okay, so like simple. I walk into Ulta and I'm like, I am so overwhelmed and clearly failing at being a woman because I don't understand half of this stuff. But it looks really cool. So the marketing is on point and also really overwhelming. But then it also made me think when I walked out of the store, like, oh my gosh, I need all of this stuff to make me beautiful. Like I had that moment where I was like, wait a minute. I actually don't need any of this stuff. Like, it's fine. So there's
Yeah.
that like juxtaposition of like the balance of, okay, how do we take care of our skin, especially as I am aging without Botox? How do I take care of the skin and look really good? Because we are up against filters online, and oh
Ugh,
my gosh, God forbid I have forehead wrinkles, which I do,
Oh my
by the way,
gosh.
because I have super expressive eyebrows. So the forehead wrinkles are going to be a thing all the time for me. But like, how do we balance this is who I am versus these are the filters versus you need all of these products? And next thing you know, you're dropping $300 in Ulta to not look like yourself. So,
$300 on a tiny bag of things too.
yes,
Like it's
yes.
not it's so easy to come out of that store with a tiny bag spending
Uh-huh.
hundreds of dollars.
Yeah.
But and I also think as a mom, like that's so important to find the balance, especially as a mom of girls, right?
Hmm.
Because like we have to toe the line. My girls love to play with makeup, and
Yep.
my 5-year-old gets mad because she wants to go super dark and everything. So we are in the phase of like makeup is here to enhance and
Yeah.
make us fancy. It's not here to cover,
Yeah.
which I think, is hard to learn. And I think even as like a young preteen and teenager, you go through that. We're like cover, change, filter,
Yeah.
adjust. And that's how I feel even about contouring. Like contouring is
Uh-huh.
like fix it, change it. I don't do any contour. If I'm going to like a wedding or event, I do very minimal, like
Yeah.
very minimal, but I don't like a full face coverage. And I feel like this stems back to our ballerina days because I
Yeah.
just feel like it's too much on my face. Too much makeup. It feels like
Yep.
stage makeup, and I'm like, ah.
Yeah. Like everybody that spends like or not 20, not $20, 20 minutes on makeup, I'm like, holy buckets, I don't have that time. Like, more
Now,
power to you. And
yeah,
they do look amazing, but I don't have the bandwidth
yeah.
for that every single day.
It does take me about 20 minutes, I will say, but that's because like step by step I'll wait. Like I'll do my skincare stuff and then I'll wait for it to dry and settle.
Yeah.
I'll put my primer on. I'll wait for my primer to dry and settle.
Yeah.
And then, I'll kind of go through each process. I do like the spray and then I wait for that and then I do the powder.
Yeah.
So like I have all these things like it just takes longer because I'm like, okay, let's
Yeah.
wait now. Let's keep
Fair. That's
going.
fair. That's fair. Yeah.
But
But I did used to get eyelash extensions. I
yes, you
have
did.
given those up and I
Yeah.
miss them. They are high maintenance.
Yeah.
Like because the ones that I loved are the classic, and my lashes would fall off. So if I wanted to keep the classic look, I'd have to go in every week. And that
Yeah.
is a little pricey.
Pricey and time. You have to go
Uh-huh.
in and lay there for an hour. And that's why
Yep.
I did it twice. And then I couldn't do it anymore because I was like, I can't come in here once a
Yeah.
week, every other week, and lay for an hour. Like, I just don't have it in me right now at
Yeah.
this point in my life.
Right, right. I know. I would love to bring them back in, but it's just not realistic right now, and that's okay. So,
Yeah, totally fine.
also, my kids actually like, well, my youngest and my husband like that I don't get them anymore because they're like, you used to have random lashes laying around everywhere, and we didn't really like that. We thought it was gross. Like they team up on me. They're like, no, you don't need fake lashes. And I'm like, but I really liked them. And they're like, but then they would lay around and they'd be like on the pillow and like on the floor, and it was just gross. And
I definitely thought you were going to say something so sweet, like, oh, they tell me I look so much better without them. And
no,
you
no,
went
it was
so the
about the
other way.
no, it was about the lashes just randomly laying around. It's fine.
That's so much better. My brain went the other way.
Well, that's because normally they are both very sweet, but no, they were a little Sour Patch Kids on these ones.
Yeah, they're like, we don't need to find your eyelashes everywhere.
No,
We're
no.
good, thanks.
Uh-huh. It's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
So going like through skincare, I feel like
Yeah.
the fun thing for me, I think, is trying different things. And that's why, like,
Yeah.
with Ulta or Sephora, by the way, there are two girls. You're either Ulta girl or you're a Sephora girl. Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
I am an Ulta girl. I think a lot of it has to do with proximity. I've always been closer to an Ulta. It's always
Yeah.
been just more in my realm. And now I'm used to it. Okay. It's just my go-to. I know where everything is.
Yep.
And, but I'm like a kid in a candy store. I could spend hours looking at everything, reading everything, because I really like to try different stuff. And
Yeah.
so that's probably the best part about skincare is there's so many different brands and like I swear to God, every 6 months a new something comes out that's supposed to be the best and whatever. And like I think like our mom and like that generation, they found what they liked and they stuck with it forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. And I feel like
Yep.
the new trend is like you try this and then you try that and then you try this and then you try that. Like you never stick to one, at least for me.
So I it was always under the impression, for whatever reason, I don't know where this came from, probably from the early 2000s. I actually got to the point where my skin did not like any products, so I would only use water. Like that was
Oh,
it. So I
okay.
used water. You guys are gonna kill me. I used water up until last year. I only use, and I would sometimes, like, I'd use my Norwex rags, but I would use water and Norwex rags up until last year when I jumped on Primally Pure, and Kevin asked me, like, what do you want for Christmas? And so I was like, I really want to try this skincare line, and I love it. Like, absolutely love it. So then I do use that. Oh gosh, I don't even remember the name of it right now. It is one moisturizer. Is it Thomas Roth maybe? That's like the moisturizer that I
Okay.
use, and I can
Okay.
get it at Ulta and now Target because Ulta is in Target. So that's
Yes.
like, but that's usually it. And so I did not understand the whole skincare thing until like last year.
That is insane to me. I'm amazed, like amazed. I don't
Yeah.
think I've ever only used water, but I also have really sensitive skin. And so like pretty sure I have PCOS. I've been like almost diagnosed a few different times from different doctors or whatever. So
Yeah.
like my chin area is very sensitive. And
Yeah.
so I can't just use water. Like even, our other sister, she'll like, oh yeah, I didn't wash my face last night. I just forgot. Like I'm trying to be better about it. And I know you've said that too at times. And
Mhm.
I'm like, I have to wash my face twice a day. And if I miss one, my chin is like, bam, hello,
Oh, yeah.
we're here.
No, see, mine was if I wash my face with anything, I would break out. So
Oh,
it
okay.
was only water and moisturizer, and that was
Oh,
it.
oh my
Mm-hmm.
gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have
Yep.
I don't have like, well, maybe I guess I do. I have probably like 6 or 7 steps in my skincare, which I guess is pretty high.
That's a lot for
It's a pretty
me.
good amount.
That's a lot. Yeah, that's a lot. Although, okay, so here's what I've started doing, and I have only started it like within like the last year, because again, I've only been washing my face for a year.
Yeah.
I mean, not washing my face, but like doing the
Yeah.
whole like 12-step process. So when I wear my fancy makeup, if I need to wash my face, because that is something that I absolutely have to wash my face with. Like that's a not negotiable. I actually wash it more in like the evening, like if we're settling down to watch a show on TV, I'll just go wash my face versus waiting until bedtime. Because if I wait until bedtime, I'm too tired. Like I'm like,
Yeah.
brush your teeth, climb into bed. That's it. I have no capacity to sit there and wash my face. It takes not more than 3 minutes, but for some reason my brain is like, you don't have it in you, go to bed.
No, but that's such a good hack. And I've seen
Hmm.
that a few times from other moms. And
Yep.
I do that a lot of nights too. Like once I get the girls down to bed, I will take my makeup off, I'll wash my face,
Hmm.
even though I'm gonna stay up longer. Like it
Yep.
just is easier to be done with that. Even if I just do half of it. Like I just do half of it and then I'll do
Hmm.
the other half like right before bed or whatever. It
Yeah.
just helps because
Yeah.
it doesn't take that long, but it does when you're ready for bed it feels like a lot. And then I feel like it
Yeah.
almost like wakes you up again. And then you're in bed and
Yes.
you're like, well, now I'm wide awake from washing my face.
Yes. Uh-huh.
So,
Yep. Exactly. Exactly. So that's
yeah.
another little hack for all of you that I
Yes.
have found actually works for me. So, but let us all know your guys' skincare. Let
Yes.
me know what else I need to try.
Yes. And I want to know, Sephora or Ulta, where are we at? Are you both? Are you one
I
or the
have it
other?
both. So, next thing I want to talk to you about, we missed your birthday week because I was, doing my thing. So I want to talk about birthdays, and then I also want to talk about birthday parties. Now, full
Yes.
disclosure, my kids are home for spring break, so I've kicked them down to the basement so you don't hear them in the background. But my middle's birthday is coming up soon, and I kind of want to talk about like how birthdays change from when they're teeny tiny up until like now they're teenagers and how, how that all works. So you're still in like that middle age. So
Mm-hmm.
I was like a huge Pinterest birthday mom, like all of the things. I had the time, like I think my middles, he was I had like a whole Cookie Monster birthday. His first birthday was like the Cookie Monster, and so we had like this whole theme. And so for all my kids' birthday parties, there's been like these giant themes, like we're on Pinterest, we're doing the things. It's all super over the top. And then I feel like it's when they hit like 7, 8. Well, it's really when they hit like 5, 6, and you start doing the class birthday parties. And so then
Mm-hmm.
I did one party at my house for my oldest with all of his classmates, and I was like, never again. So then you outsource. And so then I would go like to places like your urban airs and your bowling alleys, and and now our birthday parties are like we asked him, well, what do you want to do for your birthday? He's like, I don't know, like whatever. And we're like, okay, do you want to have your friends over and have a pizza and call it good? Like it's really like simple now and
Mm-hmm.
low key. So,
Mm-hmm.
but is it that back then everybody was crazy and now we're all simplifying it, or is it just that I'm tired? So, what are you seeing on your side?
I think it's a little bit of both, right? Because I think when my girls were really little, the birthday parties were extravagant. Like,
Yeah.
yes, there was Pinterest, but it was also so over the top. I mean, catered, like chairs, decor, like everything was rented and like huge balloon arches, huge everything. It was so over the top.
Yeah.
Um, and I feel like we're people are transitioning away from that. Now, I still am very much a big Pinterest mom when it comes to birthday parties. I love birthdays. I
We
love
love
a
a good
birthday
theme.
theme. I love a good theme. Give me a theme and I am all in. So for my girls' birthdays, their birthdays have always been very big into the theme. Now, that being said, they have always been at my house, and I don't go extravagant over the top cost wise. I do a
Mhm.
lot of like simple DIY things, but it's all based on the theme. Like, I'm a huge theme person, okay?
Yeah.
So I do go over the top in that sense, but they are here. And that's mainly because it drives me crazy that going out for a birthday party right now, whether it's bowling, a sky zone, a pool party, like whatever it is, you're looking at a minimum of $1,000. And
Holy buckets.
I
I've never
cannot,
spent that much money on a party out.
that's like right now, like that's at least where I live, like that's where everything
Yeah.
is. And I cannot justify it. Like, I
No.
cannot justify that because I can do it all here in their theme. We always do it outside. I'm lucky. The girls are end of April and June, so we've got
Hmm.
warm weather.
Yeah.
So I've always been able to like do something in the yard. But yeah, going places like that, it's just so stupid expensive. I can't justify it. I could take them on a
Yeah.
trip for that instead of,
Yeah.
having all their friends go bowling or something. So
Yeah.
I think it's both. I think everybody's shifting back to the more simple birthdays because I think
Hmm.
it's too then it's showing your kids like the fun of the simple parties. You've got the
Yeah.
pizza, you've got the snacks. Like really what it's about is just spending time with your friends and your family, and everybody's hanging out and talking and spending time together, and like that's really what it should be about.
Yeah. That's fair. Yeah. I think, first of all, I've never dropped $1,000 on any of my kids' birthday parties. Like, I maybe dropped, I'm trying to think of like the most expensive, maybe $500, which is a lot of money. But that was my youngest third birthday, and she was obsessed. with The Greatest Showman.
Oh
So
yeah.
that was the one where it was post COVID. So the movie theaters were renting out like the whole, like you could buy the whole room or whatever it is, the whole theater, for like something silly like $99 or something. And
Yeah.
then we ended up having to pay a little bit of extra because The Greatest Showman wasn't playing at the time. So you had to like pay, I think it was like maybe $200 to like get them to re-stream it or whatever, which I'm
Yeah.
like, really? It cost you $200? I don't know, but fine, whatever. So that was probably the most extravagant. But then we had an entire theater that we filled out. So we invited neighbors and her friends from school and all of our family and watched The Greatest Showman in the theater. And we had popcorn and we had all the things. She dressed up like The Greatest Showman. It was adorable. I want to say that that one probably did get close to $500. That was probably the most extravagant.
Yeah.
But then the rest of them, I want to say I don't think have ever been more than 250.
Yeah.
So yeah, $1,000 is insane to me. I would
It's
never spend $1,000.
wild. But
Yeah.
that's like how every place is right now. Even like the place that I work that has a discount. It was almost $1,000 to do it there. And I was like, absolutely no way. So renting movie theaters, you used to be able to do that for so cheap. We did that during COVID. So my
Mhm.
girl's first movie theater experience was during COVID. We went and saw Raya with one other friend. So it was like
Mhm.
our best friends in Nevada. We went and rented out. It was only $100, and we rented the whole theater, so we got to watch Raya. It was incredible because it wasn't
Right?
that expensive. No one else was in there. They were young enough. I think they were like 2 and 4 at the time. And so they were young enough that they were running around, they were making
Yep.
noise, and it was just the six of us. And it was so nice. Like it was
Yes.
so nice. I wish
Yes.
that they did that now still.
Yeah, I know. I do too. I wish that they would bring that back because I would do it. Absolutely. It
In a
was worth
heartbeat.
it. Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Because now
can't do
it's
that
like it
anymore.
costs me more to take my family, and there's just five of us. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Hmm.
It's madness. So I think that's another reason that everyone is kind of switching back to the simple birthday parties because it's just gotten so out of hand. Like
Yeah.
there's kind of no point to it, you know?
No,
It's just not
no.
worth it.
Your money does not go as far right now. Let's face
No.
it.
No. No, it does not. So we need
It
hacks.
really doesn't. Yeah,
Easy.
we really do. We
Easier.
really do. Okay,
Yeah.
so we do have, speaking of hacks, just FYI, again, I have to be kind of quiet. So we do have a holiday coming up.
Yes. St. Patrick's
Yes.
Day.
Yes. And every year I forget that it's coming up. So
Mhm.
every year I end up at the Walgreens buying a box of cereal and a little things the night before. I
Yep.
think you all know what I'm putting down, hopefully.
Yep, yep. I did not, so my kids are not home, so I can speak freely. I'm in Tiffany's ear. Yeah, so they can't hear me. Um,
Yeah. And so, yes, let's put that full disclaimer out here.
we're gonna talk in code for a minute, okay?
Yep.
So
Yep.
if you have
Hmm.
kids, this is now the time to pause and come back when you don't have kids.
Yep.
Okay,
Exactly.
great.
Okay, take it
Okay,
away.
so um I did not realize that like catching the leprechaun or making leprechaun traps was a thing probably until 2 years ago. I don't
Yeah.
know if I was just late to the party or if it really was a new thing then. I really didn't do much for St. Patrick's Day before then because when we were growing up, the only thing that I remember is that our milk would turn green. The
100%.
leprechaun would come in and turn the milk green. And to me, that was the extent. Like, I don't
Yeah.
remember really anything else. Sometimes there were gold coins like on the table or whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't remember anything else. And so that's kind of what I did. But then when my girls got older, they went to school. And my oldest went to school and she was like, "Oh, we're setting a leprechaun trap." And I was like, "What?" She's like, "Well, yeah, he's gonna sneak in and we have to try and catch him." And I was like, "What? I have to do what? Like, what?
No,
What?"
this is very much a new thing. This was not a thing. Like,
Yeah.
even when my oldest was younger, this was not a thing. Like,
Okay.
it came about in the probably like the last, I'd say, at least the last 10 years, if not like the
Yeah.
last 7 years. Yeah.
And
I'm not
it's
here for it.
it's
We
like
don't do that. No, we don't do that at our house. That's not a thing. Like,
yeah.
we will do the other thing at the other big holiday that everybody does
The
with
elf.
the yes, thank you. Um, but but we will not do the
Yeah.
big.
And see, I don't do the elf. I don't do the
Yeah,
elf.
yeah.
Because I saw you do the elf and I was like, I don't think I want to do that for 10 years. So I'm
Fair.
probably not
That's
gonna
fair.
do it. So we don't do the elf. We do a reindeer.
Ours is ours has gotten real lazy the last couple of years. Like
Yeah.
we dropped that bar from up here to way down on the floor. In fact, I dropped it so much that my husband actually picked it up a little bit because he was like, "Hey, maybe we could add a little bit in." And I was like, if we're gonna do that, it's gonna be you because my bar's down here now."
Yeah, yep, that's totally fair. Yeah, the
Hmm.
the leprechaun. What did I do last year? Last year did the whole thing. He turned the toilets green. Okay, he turned the milk green. I was really into it. There was little gold glitter pieces all over our floor.
No, thank you.
And at the time, I thought it was really cute. And Tyler was like, "What the hell are you doing?" And I was like, "No, it'll be great." And then I was cleaning it up for months,
Yeah.
months.
And you know what happened now? Do you know what they're gonna want this year? They're gonna
I
want
know,
that bar way up
I
here,
know,
means
I
right
know,
up
I know, I
here.
know, I know. Yep. But
Hmm.
one really cute thing that I did do, which I will do again this year. I got like green kinetic sand. I love kinetic sand. If you don't
Yeah.
have it, it's amazing. So much better than Play-Doh. It doesn't dry out. It's soft. It's not sticky. I love it. So I did the green kinetic sand and then I got like these little fairy houses from like Hobby
Uh-huh.
Lobby or Michael's or something. And to this day, it is something that the girls still play with because it's outside and they set it up for their fairies. And like, so to me, that is something that's worth spending the money on because it's not just this little trinket that they're going to throw away from the dollar store. Like, it is
Right.
something that they're actually going to play with. And when they're done playing with it, you can make like a cute fairy garden in your yard or by your front door or whatever. So that's kind of how I have done it. But it's like the trap. Oh my God. They had like
Mm.
tape and strings and a box and like I don't even remember what they put in there, but it was like a literally the box was like being held up by something so that
Uh-huh.
it was and then they want to catch it. But somebody, and I don't it might have been our sister-in-law, asked them, "What are you gonna do if you catch the leprechaun?" And they were like, "I don't know." And I was like, "Oh, it's a valid question. What are you gonna do?"
Yeah. What are you gonna
I don't know.
do?
Why are we
Pretty
catching the leprechaun? I don't know.
so pretty soon, I wonder if there's even an app. There used to be an app for the other
Yep.
holiday where
Yep.
you could see the
Oh, yes, walking. Yeah, yeah,
yes,
yeah.
uh-huh. And on the video, and you could like be
Yeah,
like, "Oh
watch
my
him
gosh,
move.
look." Yes, in your actual
Yeah.
place. This
Yep.
is real hard when my kids are here. I'm so sorry, guys. If you're listening, you're missing all the hand gestures as I'm trying to explain this while still keeping the magic.
Yep. We got it. We got it.
I wonder if there's going to be an app that comes out soon for this one
For the
that's coming up.
leprechaun. Yeah.
Yes.
So that you can
Uh-huh.
see the leprechaun. Maybe. Honestly, if
Yeah.
you're not on it, somebody get on it and do it
Somebody get on
because
it. I'm
it
not going to do it because I have too many businesses, but you do it.
I'm not gonna do it because I also don't.
Yeah.
This is a holiday that like it's such okay, that's my thing, right? It's a great, easy, fun holiday and
Hmm.
like stop turning it into work for me.
Yes.
Stop it.
Yes. Hmm.
This used to just be cool. We wear green, the milk is green, it's easy, I love it,
Hmm.
amazing. Now it's this whole freaking thing. I gotta go be creative, I gotta make
Yep.
stuff, I have to decorate the house at night again, and I'm like, God,
Yep.
why does everything have to be a thing? Can't it just be
Yep.
simple and easy? Like, no,
Yeah.
it cannot.
Well, it is in my house.
Well, that's true. True.
But I'm also extra on other things. So
Yeah.
I feel like there's gonna still always be that balance of like, just, okay, I need all of you young moms to remember this, okay? be careful where you set the bar.
Oh.
That's all I'm gonna say. Just be
Hmm.
careful where you set the bar
Yep.
because at some point it's gonna be really hard to stay up here. You're gonna want to come down here. Like a little effort is so fun because it is really fun to make it magical and all of the things. I do think that that is important in childhood
Yes.
to have
Yes.
that a little bit of extra, but like maybe don't go so over the top that next year you also have to go so over the top because
Yeah.
that's really hard.
Like maybe
So,
don't put gold glitter all over your floor.
I mean,
That's,
that might be a good lesson for
you
some of
know,
us
um,
here. Yeah.
yeah, we might
Yeah. Uh-huh.
we might have
Yeah.
to like think about that before we
Yeah.
do cute because it is
Yeah.
fun. I do
Yes.
love the magic of childhood. I
Yeah.
love and that's kind of like Disney, right? So people
Uh-huh.
say don't take your young kids to Disney World. I took mine
Oh,
when they
no.
were 3 and 5, and I tell everybody to do it. It was,
Yeah.
yes, they couldn't go on the rides. Yes, they won't remember it. But oh my God, the magic and the
Hmm.
joy. Like, of them seeing these characters that are so real in their
Yep.
mind. Like it's that's what childhood is. Like that's what childhood
Absolutely.
is. It's
Yeah.
magic. All
Uh-huh.
these things happen and you get to see these things and like, oh, my oldest is starting to learn about fiction and nonfiction and fantasy and real
Hmm.
life and it makes me I'm just like waiting because I'm like, oh,
Uh-huh.
I know that we're at the end of these things. I know that we're
Yep.
really close and I'm just so sad.
It does make me really sad when they start to like grow out of that. So we did take I guess our oldest was 5 when he went for the first time. But he's very practical anyway. So he was like that made sense for him. And so then that meant that our middle was 2 at the time. And he was full into the Mickey
Yeah.
Mouse era. And it was my favorite Disney vacation. Like, hands
Hmm.
down,
Hmm.
best Disney vacation because he embraced every single ounce of it. So then we did go back when my youngest was 2. She doesn't remember it, which is sad to me because I wish I had been able to take her one more time. COVID hit, the world got crazy. And that was like the ideal time that I would have taken her back. And then
Hmm.
now, like, she I don't know if she'd enjoy it as much because she is more of a homebody and doesn't really like crowds. She doesn't really like rides. And I'm like, well, then it's not really worth the money at this
Yeah.
point necessarily. I don't know, maybe at some point again in the future. But when they were 2, it was so magical. Although I do say, and again, I saw this on TikTok, that Disney might not be as magical as it used to be, which kind of makes
What?
me really sad. Yeah, that it's
Explain.
almost
Why?
okay. So this lady, and she had some really good points. She was like, I took my son because he wanted to go for his birthday. I don't remember who this was. It was like one of those like scrolly ones. So I apologize if you are the person that put this video out. But basically, she went for her son's birthday because he wanted to go. I think he was like maybe 6 or something. He had a great time. So that was perfect. She's like, but there's the amount of money that you spend for being like the amount of money that you're spending should be like a top level experience, like a top
Yeah.
service experience. And the service is like, speaking of bars, is like way down here. Like the
Okay.
service is not what it used to be. It's too crowded. Like she brought up a point, she's like, there's no room service, which again is something that like when we travel, my kids love room service. Like
Hmm.
it's like we always have one night of room service because I think it's like the coolest thing ever to be in a hotel room and be like, here's your food, here's your $30 cheeseburger. But they're like, yes, this is the best thing ever, which I didn't even realize, I guess because I haven't been to Disney in a while.
Yeah.
And I don't know, she said it was almost just like too crowded and too confusing with the fast passes and the apps, and you have to order your food online now apparently. Like you
Yeah.
have to like pre-order your food, so it's
Yeah.
not even like you have to like make your reservations ahead of time. It's like you have to pre-order your meals ahead of time, and I'm like, that's a lot, which kind of makes me sad. Like I feel like Disney was so magical. Okay, so you guys are gonna laugh at this one again. Naive Tiffany here. Um, I went, oh gosh, I don't even remember which trip it was, but we were in the Haunted Mansion, and I'm like, oh, it's so magical, right? And somebody next to me, again, if you have kids listening to this, please make them leave because this made me really sad. And you guys are going to laugh at this. Some guy next to me said, "Oh, this is a cool elevator." You guys, I had no idea we were in an elevator. I just was like, oh, the pictures are stretching. I wonder how this is happening. But to me, I was so immersed in the experience, I
Yeah.
didn't even question it, nor did I want to question it. And
Yeah.
as an adult, okay, you guys, I should have known we were in an elevator with the pictures, expanding. No, I had no idea we were in an elevator. I was like, my Disney magic bubble literally burst in that second. I
Yeah.
looked and I was like, I'm sorry. Did you just ruin the magic for everybody in this room? Or was that just me? And it was not anybody I was with, so I obviously didn't say anything out loud. But I
Yeah.
looked at my husband and I was like, I was speechless.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you are one of those people that says that, don't. Because
Yeah.
you might be ruining it for some of us. Okay. I don't know. It made
Absolutely.
me really sad. It made me so sad.
Yeah. But you know what? I think that that makes sense about it not being as magical anymore when you add
Hmm.
all of that, because even when we went, now this was 2 years ago, two and a
Yeah.
half years ago when we
Yeah.
went, and it was really hard. Like I ended up for the first time ever using like a travel agent person
Uh-huh.
to plan my whole thing because I was so overwhelmed with where to go in the parks and like where do we eat, where do we make reservations, like, and
Hmm.
it is really confusing where to make reservations, where not to make reservations, when to order your food from this place on the app before you get there, like the
Yeah.
genie pass is really confusing.
Yeah.
It's like a lot. And luckily, when I went, it was very much a character trip. Okay. Like
Yeah.
we did not do a lot of rides. It was
Hmm.
mainly about characters, which is fine. And that's why we were there. So it was
Yeah.
a little easier. I do feel like if we were doing more of the rides, it would have been harder because
Yeah.
you have to plan it right. You have to stand in line longer. Like there's all this stuff. Um, and so I don't know how Disney could fix that, but it does seem like something they potentially need to address because you are
Yeah.
paying, I mean, five to $10,000 is what the
Easily.
average is, what they're saying. It's a minimum of $5,000 to take your family to Disney World. And at
Hmm.
that cost, I would expect pristine
Hmm.
accommodations, like
Yes.
the best vacation of my life,
Yeah.
relaxing, fun things to do, easy things to do, when in reality, like you are going to spend a lot of time standing in lines and waiting
Hmm.
for things, which is really hard when you have kids in the picture because
Yeah.
they're tired and they're hot and
Hmm.
like it's hard to keep them patient and waiting
Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
it is different, you
Do
know?
you think it's because we're older, or do you think it truly has lost some of its magic because of where we were at as a society?
Um
Or do you think it's maybe both?
I think it's maybe both. I think it's maybe both, truly. Um, I don't know because like we didn't go to Disney World growing up, you know.
No, but we went to Disneyland.
We went to
Well,
Disneyland when I think I
yeah.
was like 12 or 13 when we
Hmm.
went.
Yeah.
And so, that trip was super fun and I loved it. And I was a little bit older, but yeah, I didn't go to Disney World until I was 19 or 20 was my first
Yeah.
time there.
Yeah.
And then this time that I went with the girls when they were 3 and 5, that was my second time there. So that's really all I have. Um, I do think it would be almost more fun as an adult Disney trip because
Yeah.
there's just a little less stress.
Yep. Fair.
But
Absolutely.
I think that there's different Disney trips. Like
Yeah.
I did the character Disney trip. I think
Hmm.
there's when your kids are older, there's a ride Disney trip. And then,
Yeah.
there's like the Epcot Disney trip. There's the
Uh-huh.
Harry Potter, like there's all these things that you can make Disney what you want.
Yeah.
And so just as a whole, I think it can be really overwhelming and kind of lose that magic when you
Yeah.
are so focused on all of it. I just think it's
Yeah.
both. I think it's
Yeah.
age and I think it's society in general because it's always been expensive. It is astronomical right now.
Hmm.
Like
Yeah.
astronomically high. I mean, again, for that much money, you could go across the world and
Hmm.
go on a really cool travel around Europe vacation. Like,
Hmm.
and so that's where, again, is it my age that's like, oh, this is money well spent somewhere else?
Right.
Or I don't know. I don't know what it
Yeah.
is.
I don't know,
Yeah.
but it did make me a little sad.
Yeah.
And she did bring up a good point in this video where I was like, oh, yeah, I could see that.
Okay, so speaking of, families spending time together doing
Yes.
these fun things, I
Uh-huh.
do want to talk about like being intentional with your partner in
Oh, yeah.
parenthood.
Uh-huh.
Because I think that that's something that people struggle with when you're a new mom, when you're a seasoned mom, when you're in your busy
Yeah.
season, kind of
Yep.
wherever you are, you always have to almost like, I don't want to say start over, but you do have to like shift in how
Yes.
you spend time with your partner, how you connect with
Yes.
your partner, because I think it's always going to look different. So when yours were little versus now, what
Hmm.
does that look like now?
Okay, so when my kids were little, what that looked like within our relationship is that, and I feel like it's when my kids were little and also who I was as a person when I was younger,
Hmm.
to me, connecting meant going out on like a fancy date. Husband, I need you to make the reservations. I need you to make sure they're fancy. I need you to surprise me with them. Like I want the red carpet. Let's make this all fancy. And so then we would have to get a babysitter or have grandparents come over or aunts and uncles watch the kids, and it would be like this whole production. Now that my kids are older and I am older and probably just more simple at this point, that feels like a lot.
Yeah.
So we don't do that as much. It is still fun to go out and like have a good dinner out. So actually, we are probably due for one soon. Husband, let's get back on that because I know he's usually better at saying like, we really need to go on a date. And I'm like, I'm so busy working and like I get so wrapped up in my head that like I end up spiraling about all the things that I could and should, not even could, should be doing of like, oh my gosh, I should be here so I can be on my computer and I should be answering my phone and I should be doing this for this business and I should be doing this for this business and oh my gosh, the kids need to be here and blah blah blah. Like I am like a tornado.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
so my husband's really good about being like, hey tornado, let's sit down for a minute.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we do still do that occasionally, but our dates actually look like my favorite dates right now are because our kids are in school. They're actually lunch dates. So
Yeah.
we don't do the like I know that like you've mentioned one of your biggest things is, and I want to hear your thoughts on this, on what you guys do, is you do at-home date nights.
Hmm.
Our problem is we can't do at-home date nights right now
Hmm.
because our kids are awake past us at this point,
Yeah.
honestly. Like they stay up later than us. So for us to be like sitting here having
Go
dinner,
away.
like the kids are like running around like, what are you doing? Or like for us to like sit down and play a game, the kids are like, well, yes, we would like to play
Yeah.
a game.
Yeah.
How did you know? But it can't be planned, first of all, because if
Yeah.
it's planned, they will be all over you. And second of all, it's like just a random time where we're like, okay, this is where we're together. So our
Hmm.
favorite is actually like day dates right now, is where we will go out to lunches on like hubby's lunch break. And like that's our time to connect and chat
Hmm.
through like how are we doing, all the things that we need to, just connect with because one, lunch dates are significantly cheaper and we can go wherever we want without our kids having any opinions on any sorts of dinners.
Hmm.
And two, they're all in school, so I don't have to worry about a babysitter. And I'm like not checked out and exhausted by 8 p.m. on a Saturday night when everybody else is like, out and about. And I'm like, why aren't you all in bed? Like, I'm so old. I sound so old right now.
You don't. And I need to interrupt this to tell a story. Tiffany has always been this old, okay? Because I babysat her oldest when he was like, I don't know, one. He had to have been a year and a half. I mean, I babysat him a lot, but I babysat for date night. And
Hmm.
she was so excited because they were going to go out on a date. It was so great. And I was like, oh, yeah, I'm so excited. I get to babysit my nephew tonight. It's going to be awesome. So we go. And I told my friends, oh, I can't go out tonight. I'm babysitting my nephew. So I go babysit, and they're home by like 8 or 8:30, and I was like,
Yeah.
"What are you doing?" And you were like, "We're done. We're home." And I was like, "Oh, I'm going out tonight, guys. It's only 8 o'clock. I'm coming." Like you were just like, "Yeah, we stayed out late." And I was like, "Oh, it's time for me to go out. All right, let's go."
It's true. I have always been this old. Okay, it's totally true. Like honestly, when our kids were little, it's kind of a running joke with me and husband of the majority of our date nights, we would do a nice dinner. Sometimes we would catch a movie, but most of the time the movie started way too late. So why on earth, how on earth could you do dinner and a movie simultaneously? Like that didn't even make sense time-wise. So we would end up at dinner and then we would walk through Target. Like
Love.
that was our dates. Like
Hmm.
and it was just and it got to the point where we would be done with dinner and he'd look at me in the car and be like, "Are we going to Target?" And I'm like, "Heck yeah, we are." Let's get some grocery shopping done. It was terrible.
That's a good one. You know what? I have only gotten Tyler to do that a few times, and it's usually
Yeah.
when I'm very stressed and he's trying to
Yeah.
make me feel better. So, like,
Yeah.
we'll go to an early dinner date night or something, and he's like,
Uh-huh.
"Do you want to go shopping?" I'm like, "Hell yeah, I want to
Yeah.
go shopping." Yes.
Absolutely.
Twist
100%.
my arm. Let's go.
The answer is always yes.
Yes.
The answer is even better if you're like, "Why don't you buy yourself something?" Okay.
Yes. Oh my God. When he's like, "Do you want to go walk around Home Goods?" I'm like, "Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Thank you."
Who who doesn't want to walk around Home Goods?
Yeah. Seriously.
Okay. That's how our date nights have evolved. And
Uh-huh.
also, I just honestly, I don't like wearing uncomfortable shoes and clothes at this point anymore. Like, just it's fine. Like, it's fine. Just call me grandma, okay?
It's great. You're in your grandma era and we love you for it. Okay?
I've
It
always been in my
fits.
grandma era, okay?
Yes, that's true. I am in both. Okay? I am in both. Now,
Yeah,
Tyler and I, we are very good about intentional date nights because that is something very important to me. Quality time
yeah,
is a huge love language.
yep,
And when the girls were really young, I didn't get that. Like we were alone, like, we were military, so we moved a lot, so we just didn't have
hmm
any help or anything. So we just
yeah,
didn't do that. And
yeah,
so now we're really good, but we do a variety. So like I personally love going to the movies. It is one of my favorite things. Like I
yeah,
used to, when the girls were younger, go to the movies by myself. I love going to the movies. I don't know why.
yeah,
It's such a thing for me. I love it.
yeah,
But so we'll do that. We do dinners a lot.
uh-huh,
We are very lucky to have in-laws that watch the girls all the time, so we don't have to pay for a babysitter, which makes it easier. Um,
100%, absolutely.
yeah, but because quality time is so important to me, that's why I really like home date nights.
Yeah,
Because even though, we've done one or two date nights, in a week, then we're at home, I still like to be really intentional with my time. And it's small things. I love board games. I love card games. 20 questions. I love that. I just think it sparks intentional conversations.
yeah.
One thing that we're trying this weekend, which I'm very excited about, is the Paint Your Partner
Oh, yeah.
date night challenge. So
Yeah.
I will absolutely post results because Tyler is
Yes.
not an artist, and
Yeah.
we are doing that this weekend. But I just think those can be so fun because you're
Yeah.
comfy clothes, you're at home, it's not the whole show and pony, you don't have to leave, but you're still like spending that time instead of just sitting next to each other and like scrolling on your phone or whatever, like
Yeah.
you're really being intentional about that time. And so that I really like. My girls also go to bed really early, and
Uh-huh.
so it's easy for us to do date nights at home to where like
Yeah.
I'll feed them dinner earlier, it'll be something easy and simple, and then we'll order takeout and have a date night at home.
Right.
It's easy. So I think it just again depends on the phase that you're at, but I think it's
Yeah.
always going to look a little bit different. Like you're going to
Oh,
go
yeah.
through ebbs and flows of what that connection and what those date nights look like. Um
100%.
The only time that we go out late now, because I don't go out like I used to anymore. I'm tired. We went out for my birthday and we went to our favorite steakhouse and we had like a 7:30 dinner reservation because we wanted to do a bedtime babysitter so that the girls felt like they were with me on my birthday too. And
Yeah,
we were driving and it was dark, 7:30. It was pre-daylight savings. So it was dark
right.
and we were driving and I was like, wow, I haven't driven out this late and like a lot. Look at us, we're so cool. But
Oh
yeah,
my
so
gosh.
yeah.
I think that's amazing. Yeah. I mean, that's like 7:30 dinner. Oh, Mimi.
Well, what's funny is last year we were in the city, so we were actually in Chicago for my birthday, and he
Yeah.
really wanted to take me to this restaurant, and they only had a 9:30 reservation.
I could never.
We did it, and we I was like, "Wow, I'm so cool."
I could never do a 9:30 reservation. Oh my gosh. No, thank you.
I was impressed that we made it, truthfully. I
That is not the life for me.
Yeah, I made it, but we did say he was like, "Oh, I made this reservation. If we don't make it, it's fine." But we made it. I was like,
I am
"Wow."
impressed. I would have been like, nope, we're going to bed now.
Yeah.
That would have been that.
And scene. I'm all done. Thank you.
That's it. We can do no more today. Nothing is worth staying out till 9:30 at night. Although I will say, okay, so now that we're like back into spring sports, which started this week, on top of daylight savings time, on top of me traveling, like it's all just kind of been this convoluted mess. Normally we eat dinner at like we talked about this before, like 5 or 5:30, like super
Hmm.
early. Last night, between the groceries were picked up at 5 after the dance class, and then we had to time it with just getting to the track practice and all of the things. Dinner was not ready at my house until 7 o'clock last night. And my youngest was like, I'm starving. And I was like, I know. Like we're like trying to like figure out how to get back into the flow of
Hmm.
spring sports and all the things again. And like with it being sunny so late too,
Yes.
it's just throwing me off, honestly. This whole week, I don't even understand this week. I it's just we're just gonna just take it hour by hour this week
Yeah.
and we're gonna start again next week at this point. So,
Yes, daylight savings just throws everything. And
hmm,
like my oldest, she's so confused by it because she's like, I
yeah,
don't understand why the time changed. And I was like,
yeah,
well, it used to be for the farmers. And she's like, why? And I was like, I don't really know.
yeah,
And she's like,
yeah,
well, why do we do it now? And I was like, I don't really know. I
yeah.
don't have answers for you. I will say I love that the sun is out later
Oh yeah,
because
absolutely.
the day feels longer, but it's hard to get back in that routine because with the
Hmm.
sun being out longer and it being nicer, like we have been outside for most of the afternoons after school. We
Hmm.
pick up, we do playground, we come home, we have snack, we go on a walk, we go to the park, we come home. They want to stay outside and play, so they stay outside and
Yeah.
play. And all of a sudden it's 6:30 and I'm like, ah!
Yeah.
Wait, we have so many things to do.
Right? Well, and so like, okay, so I was obviously out of town this weekend and I went to Arizona, and
Hmm.
Arizona doesn't
Yes.
change daylight savings time. So I'm used to like collectively having this daylight savings time experience, right? So I'm like, I wake up Sunday morning and we're going to brunch, and I'm looking around at all of these people that live in Arizona, and I'm like, your world has not just changed.
Yeah.
And yet, me, when I go back tonight, or, like whatever, when I went back that night and like my family, I'm like, everything has collectively changed for them. And you all are just sitting here having brunch like it's normal. Like, what
Yes.
is happening? It was really weird. It was like a mind bend kind of situation. Is it
Yes.
dark? Is it light? We don't know.
Ah!
Are we sleeping? Are we awake? I don't
Nobody
know.
knows. Nobody knows.
No, except for in Arizona, they're just
Yes.
chill.
Oh, and I'm so jealous. Seriously, my every day, my oldest is like, it's not actually this time, so can I sleep in? And I'm like, no, because it is actually this time now. Like,
It is now this time. Yeah.
sorry. I know it's earlier
Hmm.
and I know you're tired because, girl, I am tired too. It's taking some adjust, and I'm an early bird,
Yeah.
but this one always takes me a minute
Yes.
because it's
Yes.
now I'm waking up at 5:30. It's
Hmm.
just. Oh,
I
it
have
is
to give a shout
hard.
out to our school district that did the spring break right after daylight savings time because that has
Genius.
saved me this week. Like by next week, we'll be good. It'll be
Yeah.
just fine. But if
Hmm.
we had had to do those early morning like practices before school this week, oh my gosh, we would have been dead on the floor.
Yeah.
Like,
That was so smart. I wish that
it
our
was
school
really
did that.
smart.
That is,
It
they
was
did that for the
genius.
teachers. They did that for the teachers. Yep.
As
They
they
were thinking.
should,
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. That was like ours the day after Halloween. They did like a pajama and reading day and I was like,
Yeah.
"Yes, I approve." Yep. Good.
Yep.
Good move. Good move.
100%. Yes. Anything we
Yeah.
can do to make the teachers' lives easier? Absolutely. Yes, please.
Yes.
100%. In fact, they should do this next year because it was amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
late start. Let's do late
Yep.
starts, you know,
Yep.
give them time.
Hmm. Yes. Settle in, all the things. Yeah. So
Yeah, we'll get
I
it.
know.
We'll readjust. And hey, the
It's
sun
fine.
is out. We get it for
Yes.
longer. It's
Oh, thank
spring
goodness.
almost. We're gonna get a
It's
snow
almost
again.
there.
We can't get too excited. It's gonna
I
happen.
know. I think we
Okay?
are too.
It's gonna
Yep.
happen. We just
But it's fine.
we have to accept it. But we're getting there. We're getting
We're
there.
so close.
Yeah.
It's just a hop, skip, and a jump away. So we're
Yes.
like right there, people. We can do this. Okay, so next week we're going to talk about variation, which is
Yes.
our March book of the month. So you guys are getting an extra week. If you have not read it, snag your copy and get it done. Mimi has totally read it.
Totally. I'm on top of it this time. We've switched.
Yep. Yep. It's fine. It's a great book. It's a super fast read, so you're gonna love it. You have plenty of
Great.
time to read it.
Yeah.
So yeah, read that. Come with your questions. I'm excited, and I don't know. Should we call it the end?
We should call it. Don't forget to
Okay.
like and subscribe. YouTube, Spotify. We're on TikTok now.
Yes.
Listen, like it,
Instagram.
share it. Instagram. We love
Uh-huh.
it. Thank you for being here.
Okay.